Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham blog. And again, I'm delighted to say we're joined by Fabrizio Romano for a Tottenham transfer special. We're going to be bringing you up to date on every piece of Tottenham transfer news you want to know for this window, including Dele Alli, who a lot of Spurs fans are interested in right now. But first of all, Fabrizio, thank you so much for giving your time to the channel again. I hope you had a really good Christmas, and how are you?
I did, thank you. I hope you too, and your family and your listeners, and really big pleasure to be with you and ready for the transfer window. Will be not easy, but amazing.
Yeah, and look, it's a fantastic time of year for all football fans. There's a lot of stuff to be keeping up to date with this transfer window, which we'll get into in a second. But first of all, I want to ask you something about something not a lot of people know about you, and it's about the football club that you actually support. No, I know the answer to this one, and I know a lot of fans will be surprised about it. But can you tell us who it is and how you got into that club?
Yes, I am a fan of Watford just because I was looking at the special match against Leicester, the crazy one with Troy Deeney scoring the last-minute goal after the Manuel Almunia, the goalkeeper, going on the penalty and saving the club. So they were having a fantastic moment, and I was looking at the match and I fell in love immediately with Watford. And then immediately after, I started to play with Watford on FIFA, on Football Manager and everything. So I have a special feeling with the club. Then I moved to Vicarage Road many times to look at the matches, to meet with people. You know, they have Italian ownership with Mr. Pozzo as president. So I know the people around the club, and I'm a big fan of Watford. I love the atmosphere in Vicarage Road and everything. So yes, I'm a Watford supporter.
I know it's something that will take a lot of people by surprise, and it's not the best last couple of seasons for Watford, but hopefully things will improve for them soon. Look, let's get down to business. The biggest question Spurs fans have at the moment is about the future of Dele Alli, and I know Pochettino, his first press conference with PSG today, he was asked about Dele Alli. You know, PSG, a team who were interested in him last summer. Can you give us anything on Ali's future, about whether he may be leaving Spurs this window?
Yes, for sure. Dele Alli, from what I know, is not happy, obviously, with the situation. He's not playing, so it's normal when a talented player, I love Dele Alli, so when you have the player like this that is not playing, it's normal that he's considering to leave the club, as I said many times, just because he wants to have space, to find space to play, and that's his priority in this transfer window. We will see if Paris Saint-Germain will move. At the moment, as you say, Pochettinos is still waiting to understand the right strategy, but what we can say, it won't be easy to find an agreement with Tottenham, just because Daniel Levy, as you know so well, it's never easy to make negotiation with Daniel Levy. When he wants to sell players, he wants exactly their value, and he's not changing anything. So it won't be so easy also to try for a loan, something like this. We will see if Paris Saint-Germain, if another club. I think in Italy is so difficult because clubs are in a difficult situation here, and same with the Spanish clubs. Also Barcelona and Real Madrid are living in a difficult situation. So let's see Paris Saint-Germain or other clubs to move. And for sure, Dele wants a different second part of season. He's not playing, and he deserves to play, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely agree with you there. He's a fantastically talented player he's having a bit of a difficult patch, and I think the majority of Spurs fans do hope he can find that form at Spurs, but it may take a move away from the club, unfortunately, for him to refine that form. And one of the main questions I was getting on Twitter, this one coming from Barney Mindlin, asking about updates in HeungMin Son's contract. It's been quite a while since we heard that he was in contract negotiations. We're expecting it to be signed by now, and fans are getting a bit concerned over the delay on this one. Is there a reason to be worried?
No, don't be worried. It's normal when you talk with top players like Son to need some time before signing the contract and having the announcement and everything. So look at what's happening with Manchester City, with De Bruyne, and Paris Saint-Germain with Mbappe and Neymar. It's normal when you talk with this kind of players. It's not because of the players, it's because you have to negotiate about the commission and the contract and the add-ons. And if we win, we're going to give you this or this other one. So it's difficult to find agreement about the timing, but the player wants to stay. Tottenham are so happy with him, obviously. So in my opinion, he's going to sign in the next months. That's what I feel around the club and also around the player. He changed his agency with an agency-based soccer so close to Tottenham people. So he wants to stay. Obviously, he wants a good contract, and they are going to offer him a good contract. So they are negotiating, but I am positive about the situation for Son because they are really happy. And we said it's always difficult to negotiate with Daniel Levy. We said it for Dele Alli. Imagine next summer for some clubs asking for Son. I think it would be really, I don't say impossible because nothing is impossible, but really, really difficult to find money to sign Son next summer.
Yeah, look, that's definitely an encouraging thing for Spurs fans to hear. And speaking of Spurs attackers that it could take a lot of money to sign, we've heard some reports in the last couple of weeks that Harry Kane is attracting interest from teams, including Manchester City. There's been other reports that he is in contract negotiations. Do you think it's possible that Kane could leave Spurs in this window or the summer window?
If a club will make an important bid, yes, just because every player is on the market right now. But what's my feeling around the club, they want to continue with Harry Kane. They are not looking for someone to buy Harry Kane. So I would say at the moment there is nothing. Obviously, the interest is normal because Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in the world. And for sure, Manchester City, if they lose Aguero or other clubs, can look at players like Harry Kane. But at the moment, I'm not told that they are negotiating with Harry Kane agent or with Tottenham. So the situation is so cold. We will see next summer. But at the moment, Harry is happy with how Tottenham are changing their perspective, also in the league with Mourinho. They are on the right way. That's what Harry feels. And the same from Mourinho. He's so happy with Harry Kane. And how you can't with this kind of player. The board, absolutely the same, Daniel Levy. So at the moment, I see the future for Harry Kane with Tottenham.
That's, again, a really encouraging thing to hear. And there's one more player that could potentially be leaving Spurs this window. Fans, perhaps on the other side of this one, wanting to see him move on, and that is Davinson Sanchez. His form has slumped in a Spurs shirt of late, and we've heard, again, rumours from Italian teams especially being interested in him. Have you heard anything about Sanchez potentially moving to Serie A?
No. To be honest, Inter are not looking for a centre-back. They're happy with Skriniar now. You remember last summer he was close to join Tottenham, but now they are happy with Skriniar, so they are not going for a centre-back. AC Milan are signing a new centre-back, but it will be Simakan from Strasbourg, from the Ligue 1, so no Davinson Sanchez. Juventus are not looking for a centre-back. Roma are not looking for a centre-back. Napoli are not looking for a centre-back. So I think it's possible to think to other clubs to sign this kind of player. So for Italy, at the moment, there is nothing. Then we are in the most important moment because we have the window opened and everything can happen. But at the moment, no one is looking for a centre-back in Italy.
Okay, and speaking of centre backs, look, Spurs. It's been no secret we've been looking for one. Matty HFC here on Twitter saying, "What centre backs are Spurs looking at? Is Demiral of Juventus still an option? Apparently, he's unhappy with game time. Do you think he could be a player Tottenham could be after?"
And for sure, I can confirm you. I said many times that Tottenham and also Arsenal and also Leicester and also Bayern Munich are between the clubs that are really interested in this guy. I love Merih Demiral. I have to be honest, I'm a big fan of this player. He's not having much time, and it's true that he wanted to play more than this. But at the moment, Juventus consider that it's impossible to transfer him this window, only with an enormous bid that no clubs are planning to do in this moment. So let's see. For sure, for next summer, I think more than for January, just because Juventus need Demiral. But who's going to sign Demiral in the future? I don't know, if next summer or in another moment. And for sure, Tottenham are looking at this player, and they are interested, but they are not making any bid in this moment. So we need to wait a bit, but amazing player, really. I like him.
Yeah, there's a lot of Spurs fans interested. It's just his injuries, I suppose, will be a bit of a concern to Spurs fans. But on that note, is Milan Skriniar, is any chances of him joining Spurs, are they over?
In this moment, I would say no, just because, Antonio Conte, him also in the Premier League, he has this kind of mentality. So when he has a team with 11 players, with the right connection, he doesn't want to change anything. And Milan Skriniar, in the last 2 months, has changed completely his situation with Inter. He's being a starter with good performances, with De Vrij and Bastoni, with a 3 defense at Inter. So they are not looking for any bid for Milan Skriniar. What we have always to add is that in this moment, for all clubs, Italian, English, Spanish, wherever they are, they need money. So if someone is coming with 60 million euro, Inter are selling Skriniar, but as they are selling any player because they need money. But in this market, I see really difficult for a club to come with 60 million euro, 50 million euro, and sign Milan Skriniar also for Tottenham right now. So let's see, because if you do a bid, you can sign the player. But at the moment, there is nothing advanced, and Inter have not received anything for Milan Skriniar.
Yeah, I think that's the really what we've been hearing for a while, and Spurs fans, I think, have slowly kind of lost hope in that transfer happening. But there's a lot of hope in another transfer that I think it's way more hope out of expectation at all. THFC Harry 64 asking about Sergio Ramos. Is this one that could happen, or is it out of Tottenham's price range?
I think it's difficult. He's a free agent, so everything can happen, but it's difficult for Tottenham, but also for other English clubs, not just Tottenham. I think his priority, I'm told, is staying at Real Madrid. He has the dream of playing in the new Bernabeu as the legendary first captain to play also in the new Bernabeu and as in the old one. And he wants to stay. His priority is to stay. Real Madrid offered him 1 year of contract. He wants 2 years of contract with Real Madrid. So there are some problems, some issues, and the moment he's not convinced to stay, but they are negotiating. But I think if Sergio Ramos will leave Real Madrid, the first team ready to try for him will be Paris Saint-Germain. So at the moment with Tottenham, there is nothing. Then if he will become really a free agent, because in this moment Real Madrid are still in negotiation, but if he will become a free agent, why not? Let's see. If Tottenham will make a bid, we will say, but at the moment, no.
Yeah, I think that there'll be a lot of dreams killed with that one, but I think it's it's something that fans just really had more hope in than expectation. Now, if we can move on to some of the attacking midfielders that Tottenham are interested in, and again, I asked you about this one a couple of months ago, and it's one that's crept up again lately, and it's talk of a potential loan deal for Christian Eriksen to come to Spurs. Now, I know you tweeted about it, and Inter Milan have been very keen to say they want to sell him, and they want to sell him as soon as possible. So is a loan deal, is that kind of out of Inter Milan's radar, and could Tottenham potentially be a destination for Eriksen?
They would prefer a permanent move, obviously, just because they are not happy with Eriksen. They want to change. And the main problem is that he has a big salary. It's like 7 million euro per season. So imagine after taxes. So it's an important wage, really, here with Inter. And it won't be so easy to sign Christian Eriksen. For Tottenham, I think because Inter are looking for a permanent move and not for a loan deal right now. But as I said, they have no bids in this moment, and they want to sell Eriksen, but no one is really trying to get Eriksen. They have not received anything yet, so we need to wait a bit, because in transfer market many times happens that for the first week you say, I want a permanent move, I want 20, 30, 10 million euro, and then when you arrive to the last week, if you don't want this player and if it's not part of your club, for sure you can also listen for loan with buy option or something like this. So let's see what's going on. Last summer, Eriksen was in some ideas around Tottenham, like, okay, let's try for a loan deal. Then they have never did anything serious to get back Christian Eriksen. Let's see. At the moment, what I'm told is that Inter have not received anything. But let's see till the last week, because for Eriksen, everything can happen. So I won't say, okay, it's not happening, just because it's a dangerous situation when you have players on the market with this quality. Tottenham fans loved him for many years, so it's normal that something can happen, but at the moment there is nothing.
What about Marcel Sabitzer? Again, another attacking midfielder Spurs are after. Leipzig, a team who often bring in young players and sell on the players that they have now, given they've signed Dominic Szoboszlai. Could Sabitzer potentially be a target for Spurs?
Yes, he's been scouted by Spurs people for many, many months. He's so appreciated, not only by Spurs, also other Premier League clubs, also German clubs are looking at him. So at the moment, there is nothing advanced. He can be a target for the future, yes. I think also him more likely next summer than right now, just because the player also is happy with Leipzig. They are playing in the Champions League with good targets. They are having a good season. So at the moment, I think he's staying, but with a big paid always Leipzig listen if some clubs are coming. But at the moment, Tottenham are scouting him. They are also in good relationship with the agency around Marcel Sabitzer, but there is nothing advanced yet.
Okay, so it's looking like it could potentially be a quiet January transfer window for Spurs. And again, it's something we spoke about with regards to the effect that this pandemic is having on teams. A lot of clubs having a really, really low transfer budget. And we've heard from some sources around Tottenham that Spurs could potentially be in a situation where we can't sign anyone unless we do move players on. Do you think it could be a almost nothing transfer window for Spurs?
I won't exclude anything, because as for other clubs like Arsenal, they are selling players and then they can sign someone, and the same for other clubs also here in Italy, in Spain. In this transfer market, you have to sell players, and if you do it, you can sign new ones. So you have to have you need a balance to can do it in this transfer window. And that's why I say Dele Alli will be the key for Tottenham. If they sell Dele Alli, something can happen. If they don't, I think it will be difficult to do big deals like Sabitzer or other ones. Then it's up to the club. I'm not the sporting director, so let's see, and we will talk about it if they will move. But at the moment, they need to sell before signing new players, as other clubs. So as you said, the impact of the virus and the economical situation, and we have the stadium still in a difficult situation because we have no fans in the stadium. Mm-hmm. So top clubs as Tottenham are losing a lot of money right now. It's so difficult to plan also for next summer. So in this moment, making big moves will be so difficult. So when I say we spoke about Son and this kind of player, keeping players and making new contracts for this kind of big players, big stars, is like signing new players in this moment in the world of football. Because trust me, big clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona, and also French clubs, Italian clubs, Inter, for example, they are in a difficult moment. So also keeping important player is something big for the top clubs right now.
Yeah, and look, I think Tottenham fans will happily accept that with the kind of form Kane and Son are hitting in the Premier League at the moment, possibly the best attacking duo in the world. If we can manage to hold on to them for another few years, I don't think any Spurs fan will complain too much. But is there any other player Tottenham are looking at as a potential signing this window that we haven't yet discussed?
I think no. We have discussed about the main targets. Then you have always during the window to pay attention to some possible surprise or new targets, because everything can happen. Also, when you have a manager like Mourinho who has good relationship with some agents, so they can propose players till the last day, and why not surprising can happen. So let's see what's going on. But at the moment, as I told you, they're thinking to sell players. So in this moment, making names of many targets is not easy, just because. But it's not just about Tottenham. Also, other clubs are looking to sell players and then buy. So we have to wait a bit, and I think something interesting can arrive if they will sell Dele Alli, because the player wants to play, but is not sure that he's going to leave.
Yeah, and look, we'll talk a bit more now about Pochettino. You've mentioned him with Dele Alli, but he's a man who will always be in the hearts of Tottenham fans. And as he said, Tottenham is a club that will always be at his heart. And there's Spurs fans now, we're happy to see him at a club where he's going to be happy, a club he captained in his career. But there's also an element of kind of jealousy that he is at a different club. He's no longer the former Tottenham manager. He's now the PSG manager. What was this, his move to PSG? Was it in the pipeline for a long time, or was this a deal that was done very quickly when PSG decided to part ways with Thomas Tuchel?
Yes, he has been always the first option for Leonardo. With Massimiliano Allegri, they were the two managers they were looking, because between Tuchel and Leonardo, they had many problems about the transfer strategy. They signed two good players, but the last day with Rafinha and Kane, they was planning for something different last summer, and then they hadn't the opportunity of signing top players. So they had some problems between Tuchel and Leonardo for many months, and they were looking at Pochettino as the perfect man for Paris Saint-Germain. I have to say that also Premier League clubs, other Premier League clubs were looking at Pochettino as the perfect manager for the future. So Paris Saint-Germain were trying to say, okay, this is the moment. If we want to get Pochettino as part of our project also for the future, we have to get him right now. I know the feeling for Tottenham fans because, for example, I live in Milano, and I remember the feeling that AC Milan fans had when Ancelotti left the club. They loved Ancelotti as the top manager, but also the person, and not only the manager. So I understand your feeling, and it was the same for Inter fans for Mourinho. As many Inter fans, when they look at Mourinho on Tottenham bench, Manchester United bench, or other ones, they always say, okay, you have him like on loan because he's our manager, he won everything with Inter, and the same for Ancelotti with AC Milan. So it's a normal feeling, but it's part of the game, and why not coming back in the future? Because I'm told that Pochettino loves Tottenham people, Tottenham ball, and everything around the club. So you never say never in football. Let's see. But good luck to Pochettino with Paris Saint-Germain, because it won't be easy with this kind of stars, in my opinion. When you manage to work with Tottenham, you have stars, yes, but the star was Pochettino more than the players, because he was the man, the key of the project. Now he will be with Neymar, with Mbappe, with all the top players. It's not easy to go in the dressing room with this kind of people, amazing players, top stars, but also outside the pitch, you need to manage this kind of player, and it's something different. So good luck to Pochettino.
Yeah, and I certainly echo those sentiments, and I'm sure the Spurs fan base will as well. We wish him the best of luck, and hopefully he can win a lot of trophies there, but not at the cost of Spurs in the Champions League if it does come to it. Now, look, Lionel Messi has last summer, came closer than he's ever been to leaving Barcelona, and he has that the Argentinian link with Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino was such a good friend of Maradona, who Messi was so close to. There is some sort of a relationship there. Do you think Pochettino could be the man to bring Messi to PSG?
To be honest, I think it's not about it. Just because we have a lot of links around Messi. Someone says that there is Guardiola and he's joining Manchester City. Someone there is Pochettino and he's joining Paris Saint-Germain, and Neymar for Paris Saint-Germain, and Manchester City with Ferran Soriano. So it's so easy to talk about this kind of links. But the final decision will be from Leo. He is waiting for the elections with Barcelona, with a new president, with a new project, probably with a new manager. Who knows? For sure, with a new board. He wants to see how what's going on in Barcelona, and then he will decide. So we will see. But at the moment, I think it's not linked only to the manager. For sure, Pochettino having an Argentinian manager is positive. But on the other side, you have Guardiola for Manchester City, and also you have other clubs. So it's not about the manager. It's about the project. Leo Messi wants to win. The manager, okay, is important, but it's not about the project. It's not about the manager. It's about the project. He wants to win immediately. He needs to win right now, just because, as he said, in Barcelona, he's having difficult times. By some years, he wants to be back at top level with the club. He's always at top level, but also with the club around him, with the president and everything. So let's see if he will leave Barcelona, because he will listen to the new project and everything, and then we will know about the new club. But it's not linked to the manager, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, if he's looking for a top club, I'm sure Tottenham will happily open their arms for him. Now we've another question here coming from Twitter from Lars DHFC. It's one that Tottenham fans are really reluctant to let go of, and it's the idea that Paulo Dybala could end up in a Spurs shirt. Do you think, first of all, do you think he could be leaving Juventus in the near future?
Yes, it is a possibility. I think in the next couple of months we will know about it, like in February, March, because if Juventus will not find agreement to extend the contract of Dybala before next summer, before June, Dybala will be sold next summer. So they are negotiating by 1 year, but they don't have any agreement between Dybala and Juventus. So if they won't find the agreement till next summer, then he will be sold. And keep an eye on Premier League clubs, also French clubs like Paris Saint-Germain. We said about Pochettinos. So also we have French clubs, Spanish clubs, a lot of options for this player. At the moment, there is nothing advanced with other clubs or Tottenham or with another just because he's negotiating with Juventus. But there is no agreement at the moment. So if they don't find the agreement next summer, we can see Paulo Dybala as one of the best stars we will have on the transfer market. But it's up to Juventus because Dybala wants an important contract. You know, they have Cristiano Ronaldo and the league, a lot of players having enormous salary. So he wants a big salary too. But, you know, Dybala is not having an easy season here in Italy. He's doing not at his best level. He seems not so happy because of the situation of the contract. So I think in 1 or 2 months, we will have the situation even more clear there right now.
Yeah, and I think you said last time you were on here that it was ultimately Dybala's decision to not join Tottenham last summer when we came so close to signing him under Pochettino. Do you think Mourinho's addition to Spurs could be a pull factor for Dybala, or do you think he'd still be looking for higher level clubs?
I think the most important thing for Dybala is the contract, more than the manager. Dybala, yes, Dybala wants an important contract, and the issue with Tottenham 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago, was about the contract. Also because the situation in Dybala is so complicated because obviously he, with his agent, managed his contract, but you have also the image rights with Dybala who are in a complicated situation. There are some trouble with his former agent who is owning part of his image rights. So he wants a big contract. So more than the manager, I think is the contract the key for Paulo Dybala, as with Juventus, as with other clubs who then would try to sign him in the future.
Well, I think if it is the money that he's after, I think Spurs could definitely be ruled out of that one. I just have a quick discussion about a few more Premier League teams who could be in for a busy January transfer window. We'll start with Liverpool, who are having incredible defensive woes at the back in terms of injuries. Van Dijk out for a long time, Gomez potentially out for the season. And I think having seen Jordan Henderson and Fabinho playing centre-back on Monday, they will be thinking about any centre-backs they could be targeting for this summer. Sven Botman from Lille is kind of the main name being thrown about. But are there any centre-backs aside from Botman that Liverpool could be interested in?
At the moment, they have not moved for Botman. He has appreciated, he was scouted, but there is nothing with his agent or with Lille. We will see, because as you say, they are in emergency situations. So if in the next couple of days, they will have some opportunity, maybe they can think to sign a centre-back. In this moment, they are not negotiating for any centre-back. But as you said, when you have an emergency situation, everything can happen when you have the window open. So let's see, because also players like Botman and others, if you know that Virgil van Dijk is coming back in some months, and the same for Matip and more, so moving to Liverpool for playing like 5 or 6 or 7 matches, and then you will be on the bench for all the season, is not the best season for a lot of players. So also that's why Liverpool are saying we are happy with this team. Obviously they need a centre-back, but if they have an opportunity, okay. If they have to spend 60 or 70 million euro for a centre-back, they are not doing this kind of business this January. They are planning to do something next summer, but in this moment they are moving only if they have a good opportunity. So at the moment it's so quiet around Liverpool. Also, if, as you said, also in my opinion, and this is a personal opinion, they need a centre-back.
Yeah, I think the majority of their fans would agree with you as well. It's disappointing what they're seeing at the back there. Now, for Manchester United, a deal that rumbled on all throughout last summer and has kind of affected the form of the player involved this season is Jadon Sancho. United, the ball was in their court really in the summer in terms of getting that deal done when they refused to match the valuation Dortmund set on the player. Is this one that we should be keeping an eye on in this January, maybe the future summer window, or has the boat sailed on that one?
I think for January in this month it's impossible to sign Jadon Sancho just because Borussia Dortmund don't want to sell him. So if you don't make a crazy bid like 150 million euro, but something like this, then I don't know, sadly, because I don't work for Borussia Dortmund, unfortunately. But for sure, Jadon Sancho is not moving right now. Next summer, I think yes, because many clubs can look at this kind of player. For sure, Manchester United, they had an agreement with the player last summer, so I expect them to try again next summer, but let's see. Now we are in January. Let's think to January. Then next summer we will see. In this moment, I don't know, but I think for sure a lot of clubs will be interested.
Yeah, and I think Chelsea are another team that have been mentioned around there, and they could definitely do with another attacking player there. But one player that will be coming into United in the very immediate future is Amad Diallo, the winger from Atalanta. Is there anything you can tell us about him as a player? And should we as Tottenham fans be worried about this addition United are making?
I think no, just because he's so young. So what I say many times also around Manchester United podcast and more, give this guy some months just because he's so young. So don't expect a player that tomorrow morning is coming and tomorrow afternoon is winning the game at Old Trafford. He's a talent, he's a good player, but he's not ready yet to be a big player. So he's not. We are not signing Sancho. We had Amad Diallo. Okay, he needs some time. He needs some months. He needs to change his country, his life, the championship, also the mentality, also by the physical part, he needs to work. I love him because I think he's a talent. I love because he's an humble guy with good mentality, with great skills for sure. But he was not playing here in Italy. He played like 1 match or 2 matches in Serie A. So he needs time. And he's a big talent for the future, but let's wait. So he needs to develop, as Pellistri is doing with Manchester United, with the second team. He needs to improve, and then for the future he will be a player to look because he has talent for sure.
Yeah, he was definitely in a very talented Atalanta side last year. You know, with the amount of goals they scored, it would have been difficult for any attacker really to break into that side. But I'm sure United will be excited about this one. Outside the Premier League, do you think is there any transfers that potential big transfers we could be keeping an eye out for on the continent? Or is it, as you said, just going to be a quiet window?
Oh, it's so quiet. It's so quiet for Bayern Munich. It's so quiet for Barcelona. At the moment, it's so quiet for Real Madrid. Absolutely, they are not signing anyone right now. It's so quiet in Italy because Juventus are just signing a normal striker, but nothing special. And same for Inter, they're not going for big players. It's so quiet for Premier League clubs. Also, I would say, also because as we discussed, it won't be so easy to make big moves right now. So I think it will be a quiet January with some surprise, because when you are in a difficult situation by economical side, you can have some surprise like loan deals, swap deals. So let's see what's going on by this side. But it will be nothing special, in my opinion, nothing big. That's what I expect. Then I hope something big is going to happen. But at the moment, situation is quiet. One interesting one will be the Eric Garcia deal, because he's joining Barcelona for next season as a free agent. In my opinion, is a good deal. Let's see if Barcelona will find an agreement with Manchester City to sign this player right now. But I think Manchester City need Eric Garcia, so it won't be so easy to get him right now.
Well, Fabrizio, thank you so much for your fantastic expert insight into the transfer window, and especially all your insight into Spurs. It'll be of great interest to Tottenham fans, especially. Just one thing I want to ask you before you go. You know, like you started your journalism career writing, you know, profiles for younger players in Italy, and you know you were contacted by an agent, and things really started to go from you there. I think it was Mauro Cardi. You said you wrote one of your first big player profiles on. What advice would you have for any young football journalists that are looking to make it in a very tough business?
First of all, if you want to work in the transfer business, you have to know that it's not just a work. It's like a way of life, because you have to think 24 hours to your work. So if you want to be calm with your family, with your girlfriend, with your life, don't be a transfer journalist, because you lose a private life. Okay, so that's true. But first of all, obviously, not joking, you have to try immediately to understand about the situation of the respect for the sources. So trying to contact also small people sometimes can help, like also people around. I don't know, if you are from small cities, you know, you have your own club. Also in the first division, also in small divisions, try to contact people on social media with their number to ask something, because also small people right now can become an important director in the future. So I've been lucky because I met people that were so small 10 years ago, and now they are working for big clubs and they're helping me, and then everything is starting. So first of all, writing, because you have to be perfect when you make your work as a journalist, and then finding news is up to you with respect for the sources. Try to find people also on social media can help you right now, because with a message you can get in touch with people around the clubs and more. So you have to be lucky too. But get ready, because it's like fighting to be a transfer journalist. So not easy, but wonderful for sure.
Yeah, look, it's something I'm personally interested in. It seems like a wonderful world, but as you say, I'm sure that there are massive sacrifices in that. But look, Fabrizio, I want to thank you again so much for giving up your time. And it's definitely a very busy period of the year for you. As always, I really appreciate it. It was fantastic to get your insight again. And for those who are watching, I hope you've enjoyed this stream or this video as much as I have. I'm sure you have. If you are new to the channel and you want transfer updates throughout all of January, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. We'll be doing live watch-alongs as well. And if you are interested in becoming a channel member, make sure to hit that join button down below, and everything will be explained for you there, starting at just £1.99. But anyway, for me and Fabrizio, that's all for today. And as always, thanks so much for watching.
Ciao.